Hey everybody, this is going to be another segment of my shooting trains at control points, and this time we are at the east switch of Bealville. And I'm just going to say right now that I am done using Union Pacific terminology. Most rail fans recognize the Tehachapi district as an east-west district, and that's the way I learned it as an SP hand. I never saw the reason that UP changed it, but they did. So we are at the east switch, the siding at Bealville. And Bealville was originally about a mile long. It went down to about where the Bealville crossover is now. And there was another siding called Allard further to the west. And those sidings were joined. I don't recall when. I'll look that up and text it in here. But it's essentially double track all the way from here to the west end of Bealville, and the Bealville crossover is in the middle. I'll catch trains at those places soon enough. But anyway, here at Bealville, specifically at the east end, this was where one of the original stations on the line was. It was put in service in 1876 as a train order and telegraph station. It was an alternate water stop. All the structures were behind me over my shoulder here on the other side of the tracks. The office, there were a couple of other buildings for maintenance away personnel, and there was a 15,000 gallon water tank here. But it was also one of the last to be decommissioned. They discontinued the train order service in 1943, when the CTC was completed from Bena to Tehachapi. There have never been any structures here since I started working up here in 1984. Stuff was all gone, but the blocks for the old water tank are still piled up in the field on the other side of the fence down by the crossing. One of the funny stories I have about this place is we were working here back in the late 80s, and there had been a station wagon just sitting down by the crossing on the other side of the tracks. It had been there for a couple of weeks. And track gang was up here working. There were a bunch of people, and one of the guys went over there and broke in. You have to break into it. I think it was unlocked. But he was in there scrounging around, and me and a guy named Troy McCorder, who used to work here. Troy was a reserve deputy sheriff for Kern County, and we pulled up, and this guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was scrounging around there pulling stuff out of that station wagon. And I told Troy I had been sitting there for a couple of weeks, and he walked over there and asked this guy what he was doing. He said, "Oh, I'm just seeing what's in here." And Troy pulled out his badge and showed it to him, and I thought that guy was going to cry, but Troy was just messing with him. He really didn't care, and he ended up calling the sheriff's department to have him come tow it off, which they did a couple of days later. But anyway, we have an eastbound BNSF headed up the hill, and the reason I know it's an eastbound BNSF is because I saw him down at the bottom of the hill. All right, I hear him chugging up this way. I just wanted to say that when I was over on the other side of the tracks shooting the intro to this, I saw this thing sitting here, and I thought maybe it was just some railroad thing. I didn't really pay that much attention. Drove over here, and it looks as if someone has become disillusioned with their hot tub and dumped it here. That's exactly why I bought a Harley when I bought my house instead of having a hot tub put in. Right there, that building right there, the darker building, the first one in front of the signals. This is an AEI site. That's one of the car counter sites. I had a subscriber ask me if I would do a piece on those, and as soon as I verify some facts with someone who knows a little bit more about exactly how those work than I do, I'll put that piece up about it. I will certainly do that. But anyway, here comes this BNSF, and he is approaching the crossing at Bealville Road. horn echoing through the canyons up here. Heard him honking his horn as he went around that curve and disappeared. That is because the west portal of tunnel number 3 is just around that curve. I will link the piece I did on the history of the tunnels between Caliente and Tehachapi in the description below. I will also link the piece I did on the train order and telegraph stations between Bakersfield and Mojave in the description below. As I said, there was a train order and telegraph station here at Bealville. It actually set about where the see that front end loader sitting there. That's about where the station was. Water tank and all was all right there together. I've got some really cool pictures of what this place looked like back then. I'll stick those in here too. This is a shot looking east through East Bealville in 1952. My source says that locomotive's a Santa Fe, but it sure does look like a Daylight. Let me know if you agree or not in the comments. It was turning out to be a beautiful day. It was really foggy this morning in Bakersfield. When I got up and left the house about 6 to go have coffee, as you can see, it's rarely foggy this far up, actually. You usually drive out of it about a few hundred feet below this, but it's beautiful. It's warm. It feels like it's probably in around 60 degrees, which I don't get cold very easily, so I'm dressed in shorts. I'm very comfortable. For those of you who are alert, rail fans and folks might recognize this train as the same one I filmed going through the Sandcut crossover. It was actually, shot these both on the same day as I was driving up the road to actually go to Tehachapi and shoot some stuff up there. Figured I might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 3 or 4, or how many ever birds I can end up killing. You can hear the flange squealing against the rails. Remind everybody of how important the curve oilers are up here to keep the rails and the wheels from wearing out too quickly. Crossing, gates are picking up. Now he has cleared the control point. Now you can see the head end of the train up there going through where Tunnel 6 used to be. As I said, I'll link the history of the tunnels. That is the west end of the siding at Cliff up there, and Tunnel 5 goes through that hill. You can see him coming out of the tunnel there. And give you a good idea also of how much elevation is gained. That's about a little over a mile distant from here, track-wise. That is a pretty significant elevation gain on the climb up to Tehachapi. And this is the old McCarthy Ranch here. Been here for a really long time. I don't know exactly when. I went to school with some of the McCarthys and friends with some of the others. They are cousins to our congressman, Mr. Kevin McCarthy. All right. So some history and some cool shots from East Bealville. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you all at the next control point. See you later.